Hi, I'm Robert. I come to you as an automobile enthusiast that has maintained, serviced, and repaired my own vehicles in excess of 30 years. I currently drive a car with over 230,000 miles on it, and I once had a car that had over 400,000 miles on it and ran very well. While you're watching the video, please watch a step or two ahead. Sometimes the current step is better explained in the next step or two. Also, like, share, subscribe. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you benefit from the information. Alright, we got a Volvo SC816 car receiver that we're going to replace the light bulbs in. The lights in these cars have 5 regions of lights. They have one around here. One bulb has these 3 buttons. One bulb has these 3 buttons. Another bulb has like these, and then another one has these up here. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to get to those light bulbs and replace them. These are the tools you need to deal with the light bulbs inside the Volvo SC series head units. You need some of the small light bulb holders or get the bulbs from a Honda place. You need a real thin screwdriver for eyeglasses or a penknife, Phillips screwdriver, pair of scissors, pair of pliers, preferably needle nose pliers, little flat tip to help get the front plate off, and that should be what you need. And if you get some light bulbs from Radio Shack or me or from eBay, you'll need those little bulbs, the same bulbs that go into the light switches. As you know, that's already been removed from the car. Next thing you want to do is flip it up on this side and take out this screw and this screw. Now you want to go ahead and flip it over and take out this screw. And if it has a strap, you want to get the other screw too, but we're just going to get this screw from now. Alright, flip it over, pull the knob off. It just pulls off nice and slow. Then pull these off. They kind of snap in place, so they come off with a little snap. Now the faceplate is ready to come off, but there is probably a ribbon attached to the back. Some have a ribbon attached to them, some of them plug in. So when you pull it off kind of slowly. Now when you look at the bottom, you got 2 tabs, a tab there, a tab there. So what you want to do is take a small flat tip screwdriver, get it worked under that tab, and push it forward when it works under. I'll go ahead and do it real quick. Okay, what you want to do is get the screwdriver over there and work it a little bit forward to unlatch it, and then push it off of the latch like that. So now the bottom side is loose. Push it a little bit forward and then go do the same thing to the top side, and the front will come loose. Okay, before I could get the top side loose, I had to do the same thing to the side, because the side has a couple of those kind of latches on it as well. So do the side before you do the top and get it worked off. Now I can get the top loose. The other side, the tab broke on it, so I didn't have to do that side. So now you see that it's loose. It just works away. And this one didn't have, this one didn't have the ribbon attached to it. So when you lift up the radio, you see the 5 bulbs that have to be lit to get the radio lit. So you actually have 2 on the side near the knob, upper and lower, and then you have the 2 here, one is missing, that covers 3 numbers each. Then you have the one on this side to cover all these buttons here. And when you look on the inside of it, you can see where the bulbs go in, and then the plastic channels feeds the light to the other little lit areas. So Those are how the face plates are lit up. Now, this is the LED, and it has a bulb in it as well. You can't see it from this side of the panel. So what you need to do now is take this circuit board loose from the radio, and it has two Phillips screwdrivers here. I believe both of them have to come out. And then it has some tabs on the front of the radio that have to come loose as well. And I always try to magnetize my screwdriver so that it'll pull the screws out for me and I don't drop them down in the radio somewhere. So if you look close, you'll see a little metal tab here, a little metal tab here, a little metal tab here, and a little metal tab here. Those tabs are twisted like 30 or 40 degrees or whatever. So you want to get a needle nose plier and straighten those tabs out, and then the front will lift off. That one looks pretty straight. That one looks almost straight. But I'll go ahead and twist these straight, lined up with the slot, and pull that loose. Okay, I got those tabs bent straight. So I'm going to go ahead and lift this off. And of course, before you get into this process, you want to look at your faceplate with it in the car and installed to see which bulbs are out. Or you can test the bulbs with an ohm meter. So this radio was shipped to me by someone. I didn't put it in the car to check it. So I'll just test the bulbs with an ohm meter. So now you just lift the circuit board off the radio, and when you go to pull it off the radio, you'll notice it has a ribbon behind it. Now that ribbon just pulls out. It don't have any kind of securing latch, so be careful when you put it back in, because I've seen people split the ribbon cable and then have problems with functions of the radio. So you go ahead and hold that with your thumb and pull that loose. Now you have the control board in your hand. Okay, to get the light bulbs out of the circuit board, you simply turn the circuit board over and you'll see the black light bulb tabs. You just give them a little twist, a quarter of a turn, and pull them out. Sometimes they're a little tight, so it'd be easy to use a little screwdriver. Give them a little quarter of a turn and lift them out. So that's how you get the light bulbs out. Okay, I've pulled all the light bulbs out of the circuit board. These are the light bulbs. As you can see, they have blue covers on top of the bulbs. Those little plastic rubber blue covers help soften the light and give the radio a nice soft lighting. If you install bulbs that don't have those blue covers, the light will not be as soft. It'll be a little hard, and any imperfections in the bulb brightness will show up. Like some buttons will be a little brighter than others. So it'd be good to try to get the bulbs that have these covers on them. Now, I have not been able to get these bulbs from Volvo. I don't believe they offer them. But Honda does sell these bulbs for their dash. Can't remember if they got the blue tips on them or not. I think at Honda they're like $3.50 a piece or something like that. The similar bulbs that Volvo sells goes into the switches. And those bulbs, Volvo was actually trying to sell those bulbs to me for like $18 a piece. So the switches have similar bulbs, and they come in a short white holder like that, or a longer holder like this. So if you put the short ones in that actually go in the hazard switch, or I think the light control, headlight control switch, they'll fit in there. They are smaller, but they do not have these little rubber tips on them. So you'll need to take those rubber tips off of those bulbs and put them on if you want to try to soften your lights up. One of my customers asked Volvo to replace their lights in their radio, and the service department told her that that was not possible, that she just simply had to replace the radio at a tune of $750 if she wanted lights in her radio. Of course, she passed on that, and when I realized she had lights out in her radio, I went on ahead and replaced them for her. I can get these bulbs for, you know, I've sold them online for like $3-4 a piece. Or, like I said, you can go to Honda and get them. Some people have gotten the raw bulbs with the wires hanging off of them for about, I think they're like $2 for $1 or something like that. I think I have one over here. Show you what they look like. And I've seen them recently on eBay. They kind of look like this. That's not the right size one, but they're the bulb with the leads on them. So you can actually get those and install those in your radio to, here's a proper size one there. So I'll go ahead and show you how to thread those in one of the holders. If you get a holder out of a junkyard, or these black holders, it's like impossible to change the bulb in there because of the way they're fused on the back side of the connector. But on these other ones that you can pull out of the dash switches, you can actually replace the bulb in there if you have a nice needle nose, a sharp tip, kind of like eyeglass type of screwdriver. So let me go show you how that works. Like I said, this is really not possible with the black bulb holders, but the white ones it is. As you can see, that has a light bulb in it. If you take the sharp tip screwdriver or a little pocket knife, something like I have, you can force the tip of it under this little metal rim, which is the wire of the bulb, pry that up and get that loose from that holder and pull it out of the holder. You could do that to both sides of the bulb holder, and then you could pull that bulb out. Once you have the bulb out, you could take the new bulb, like I'm about to take here, and if you look down into the bulb holder, you can see it has two holes. You can thread that bulb through there with the wires sticking through, and then pull it taut through there, and then you'll have the wire stuck through. Let me show you that real quick. Alright, when you push the wire through, you'll have it like this in the holder. You want to make sure that you don't get them crossed in the holder so that wires don't make contact with each other. Once you get that, you can see a track where you can pull the wires through. So let me go ahead and pull the wires on either end of it and put them through the crack on the side to thread them back through the way they're supposed to be. Alright, that's about halfway done. You got the wire pulled through the bottom, and then you got them sticking up the top. Now you want to pull them over the track and take them back through the bottom side of the holder. Okay, I got the wire, if this comes in focus here, threaded back over the bulb holder and back down the track so that the bulb sticks out the bottom side again. Now, if you take a pair of scissors, you can cut this as close as you can with the thickness of the scissors. So let me see if I can hold this and show you what I mean by that. Alright, if you put the scissors against the bulb holder like that and cut those wires will have about 1/8 of an inch sticking out of the bottom, and then you'll see a little track in the bottom of the holder still that you can fold that little piece of wire down into, and then the tip of them will actually look like this. I'm not going to do it because I'm not putting that bulb in that holder just yet. I hadn't decided I'm going to do that. But that's how it'll end up looking. And then you'll have a bulb in the holder. So that's what you could do if you're going to build your own bulbs. Then you take the blue tip and press it on there and hope it doesn't come off when you put it back into the radio. Now, as you can remember, I didn't test these radio bulbs before I pulled it apart. So you can take an ohm meter, just a regular cheap ohm meter like I have here. You can set the setting over to ohms and you can test your bulbs. What you do is you take the bulb set down like that, and on each side of the bulb you can see the wire leads on the right and left. When you got that set to ohms, you put your test wires on that and you can see if that bulb's any good. Let me see if I can get that set there. Okay, this is how you test your bulbs. You put a lead on this side, a lead on that side. As you see, the meter jumped, so that bulb is good. You test another bulb. Put the lead on one side, a lead on the other side. Nothing happened, so that bulb is bad. Put the lead on this side, a lead on that side. Nothing happened, so this bulb is bad. So I tested the last one, put the lead on each side, nothing happened. So I got 3 bad bulbs here and 1 good bulb. So I'll go ahead and replace these 3 light bulbs and install a new one and leave that and get this stuff back together. Alright, if for some reason the LED bulb is out and you knew that because you couldn't see the LED when the radio was in, or you want to test it now, let me show you how to get to that. This thing has this aluminum frame around it, I guess to protect it, but if you flip the circuit board over, you'll see these 2 solder leads right here. Now that is for the light and the LED. Actually, that one's not. It's over this side. So these are the light leads for the LED. So I'm going to put the ohm meter on that to see if that bulb's any good. Okay, I did hit those leads with the ohm meter and I got nothing. So I contacted my friend Rudy and asked him if his LED was lit at night, and he said it was not. So we're going to go ahead and tear all the way into it and replace the light bulb on here too. So knowing that I got to do that, I'm going to go ahead and plug in my solder iron, get that hot, because you need the soldering iron to get this frame off of the display. Alright, this LED has those little twist tabs, kind of like the circuit board does. It has one there, one there. It has 2 that are not twisted. They're used as a guide. Then it has 2 soldered. One soldered there and one soldered there. Not sure why they soldered them, but they did. So I'm going to twist these 2 off, show you how that board comes loose a little bit, and then I'll probably unsolder those 2 points there. Okay, I twisted those tabs loose and pushed that through a little bit. Now you see that the frame of the display kind of lifts off of there, and you can see the light bulb down in that side of it. So you could probably actually leave it like that and get that bulb out. That bulb has a little funny holder to it. It doesn't twist in, but it does solder in. So my soldering iron's been hot, so I'm going to try to break that loose. Sometimes it's hard to solder and get stuff loose at the same time. So I'm going to break the solder loose, straighten out the pins, because you can see the pins are bent on that little light thing there. Here's the pins there. And then I'm going to put probably my little knife under this side of it while I heat the solder on the other side and work it out. I'm going to leave the frame connected, but I could just break the solder loose from there and down on this end to take that little frame totally off of it. your choice. Okay, I put the tip of my little pocket knife or letter opener in there and heated the solder on the other side. As you can see, I got the bulb raised out. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that the rest of the way out and work on getting the new bulb in. Okay, that's the bulb. I could double check it with the ohm meter and see that it's totally burned out. And I'm going to go ahead and replace it with one of the spare bulbs I have here with a new bulb. Okay, I got the rubber tip off of the bulb. You want to be gentle when you do that because that rubber is 15, 18 years old and it's easy to tear. Once it's tear, it's no good. So now I'm going to slide the new bulb wire through there and clip it and then get it soldered. I'm actually going to leave the lead long until after I have the solder done. Okay, I got the new bulb set in there and I massaged the blue tip over it. I'm going to massage a little more, make sure it's straight. Now the bulb is ready to set in the circuit board. Okay, this is the hard part. That's where the bulb goes, and as you can remember, it was soldered in. There's still solder in the way of the holes. So you're going to have to probably heat the little holes up so that you can slide the wires through there and then solder them in place and snip the wires. So that's probably the hardest thing in this process, is to get those wires back through there, through those clogged solder holes. Okay, I may have just taught myself a new trick. What I did, I heated one side of the solder and then I hurried up and flipped it over and blew as hard as I could through the top side of it, which cleared a hole. And then I did the same thing to the other side. Now I should be able to stick my wires through it. That burst of air did work good. Now you can see the bulb going through that way and the wires sticking out the back. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that dude through, tighten it down, and solder those wires. Okay, I'm about to solder these connections. As you can see, I have some thin solder wire. You want to do that. And you want to make sure you don't put too much solder on these points. And you also, because you don't want the solder can't touch or the bulb's not going to work between the two solder points. And you don't want to burn your circuit board. So try to be skillful and quick with your little soldering efforts here. Okay, as you can see, I got it soldered and it doesn't look like the solder's touching. So I should be good to go. Now I'm going to snip all the wire that's sticking out of there with the scissors. Okay, I got the wire snipped. I checked with the ohm meter. It looks real good. And if your vision is a little poor like me, you can take a snapshot of it and zoom in, make sure the solder's not touching. So I went on ahead, I closed the facing up, and I'm going to go ahead and twist those two prongs back to lock that in place. Alright, I got the new light bulbs in the white holders. I took the blue tips off of the old ones, put them in. There was a black one that was still working, so I put it in. These light bulbs could last, man, they say 10,000 hours, so heck, that's 15, 20 years or more. You probably never have to go in here and do this again unless that one blow, which, you know, hopefully it won't, but I don't have any more bulbs handy. So I'm going to go ahead and connect the ribbon back on the faceplate and set that faceplate and circuit board back in place. When you plug that strip back in, make sure you hit it in right the first time. I've seen them split and they mess up connections and controls of the radio. So plug it in and then go ahead and work the ribbon back inside the radio like that. Set the faceplate back in place and make sure you get those tabs to come through so you can bend those tabs and secure that back down. Okay, I installed the screw there and there. I twist that tab there a little bit, tab there a little bit, tab there a little bit, tab there a little bit. Now I can go ahead and set the faceplate back on. and make sure the guides on the top and on the sides slide in place properly before I push it. And you'll hear those little latches click when you get it in place properly. Okay, I went on ahead and pulled these out, slid the faceplate on, heard it click on there. That side has a broken latch. Seen those two clips latch in there properly, and these two latch on these sides. Now I'm going to put the 3 or 4 screws in on both sides. Okay, now I'm going to set this knobs on. Push that one in place. Clip these in. And I don't know if you know it or not, but this main volume knob here, that thing actually pulls out to control your balance right and left, and you can feel the center stop. Then it pushes in to control the volume, and then you tab it to pause it. And now that I got these sliders in, I'm going to go ahead and put the radio in my other car and test it to make sure it works properly. So let me go ahead and look for the radio code. If you don't know where the radio code is, you can get the serial number, model number, call into the dealership for them to get it. But it looks like it was written right here on top. So let's go ahead and put it in the car and check the lights and make sure it still works. Well, I've seen the radio code written on there, but heck, somebody put a special sticker on here that has the radio code, a tested date, and a security code right there. So that is the radio code for this radio, 3341. Okay, I took the radio back in after changing the light bulbs. I installed it in the deck, in the dash. I hit the code that was on top of the radio, put it in. If you need information on that, go to the entering code CD. And now I have the lights on and the car running, the music playing, and then I can run the dimmer. You can see that the display light dims and brightens up. Probably see it better at night, and you may be able to see that those other lights are working as well. So I got the light bulbs replaced, and it's working fine. If you feel that this information was beneficial, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can also subscribe to my channel so that you can get notification of future videos that I post. Visit my channel. I have all types of do-it-yourself videos there. You can leave questions here, and I'll try to respond to them as quick as possible. You can also visit my website at robertspinner.com. Thanks again for watching.